So what'd y'all think of that fine shooting right there, huh?
A lot better than me, brother.
Is that-
Better
is that
than
right?
me.
Could you tell I actually had to drop down? I had to drop down to my knees with like my butt on my heels to take that shot because it was under a low branch. No?
One time, I don't know. Maybe Chris won't like that, but one time I shot my best trick shot ever as I was holding a beer in a shotgun and I used it
There
like
you
a
go.
foregrip and got him. A dove flew up and boom, I got him. So that was in my teenage years.
Right,
So,
right.
Forgive me.
Was that with the black powder shotgun?
Yeah. No, that was
That's nice.
that was with a 20 gauge. That was with a 20
Okay.
gauge. That was
There
way
you go.
before I was into black powder hunting. So yeah, it's a little different with the black powder gun. That was an adult endeavor. So
There you go.
kids don't have the patience for that stuff.
Yeah. Well, yeah. So, pointing dogs, retrieving dogs. This go around, that it's something I like to do on the side, and we have Drothars that do it, and the setters, the Paint River setters, the tracking oriented setters. And that's what we're going to be showing this time. So I just wanted to walk you through some of the hunts that I went on this year. Let's see. So Mearns Quail, that's what we're going to be seeing this time. All the clips are on Mearns Quail in Mearns country, so the southwest of the U.S. And Mearns Quail were new to me. You grew up with them, Seth, but like
Yep.
coming from the southeast, we had bob whites and stuff like that, but Mearns it's a whole nother animal. They're weird. They got like the clown mask on, the white face,
They don't look like they would blend in good with all their like beautiful colors, and some people call them Montezuma quail or fool's quail. That's common around where I grew up here. But they don't look like they'd blend in good because they're so brightly colored, but they are impossible to see when they're holding. And you guys are going to see that. Pause these clips while we're showing them and see if you can see the bird before it flushes. Guaranteed you can.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
It's amazing. The camouflage is so good, and that's what makes them unique. So I'm glad you brought that up. That's what makes them unique because they rely on, their camouflage. They're polite, what a lot of upland hunters would call polite. They hold point, whereas like Gamble's quail or scaled quail on the other end of the spectrum, you give them half a second, they're going to run off. They're going to flush like 200 yards away. There's all these other things where Montezumas or Mearns, on the other hand, are going to hold tight. You basically have to step on them. It's weird because sometimes when they flush, it feels like they're flying out of your pant legs, because they're like literally coming out from under your feet. And so they're polite. They hold point very well. But because their camouflage is so good, and a lot of people who hunt Mearns quail will tell you it's their belief that they don't smell as much, because there's a lot of birds that, an upland dog, a quail dog from the east can be great on bobwhite and then go out and be great on scaled quail, and never been on a scaled quail before. Now they're going to run on them, but like they pick up the odor well enough, whereas Mearns, there's a lot of veterans uplands dogs that will walk right by them. They don't throw a lot of odor. So between their camouflage and their lack of odor, as long as they hold tight for as long as they can, people will go out to like the best spot and they'll never find one all day because their dog basically has to step on them to get them to flush. So because of that, it makes great videos. So I enjoyed taking them.
Yeah.
What do you got? What's that stuff?
I was going to say their flushes are so exciting. If you're not hunting with a dog for these guys, first of all, it's like very tough. And when I'm working and I jump these quail, it always scares the crap out of you because they're right at your feet and they just like explode in front of your face. So it's really exciting. You're right. Scales. We have scaled quail, Gamble's quail, and Montezuma quail here. And all three of them you can see pretty regularly. The Montezuma quail, not so common in the low desert, but they are around in the desert foothills. And man, they wake you up. They give you a shot of wake up pretty quick when they explode under your feet. So it's very exciting.
Yeah. And so because of that, they allow to take great video footage. And as long as your dog is, trained to them, they're a blast to hunt. So that first video we just showed you, let's break that one down. The Drots on Point.
Drots
So this is my
point.
dog Haggis. Yeah. So this is my dog Haggis is already on point here. He's behind the tree, but Griff comes running up and he can't see him.
He just
so like you could see how the dog's actually behind the tree there, you know. So I had to put the brakes on Griff, and the wind's blowing towards Haggis. So Griff was upwind; he couldn't smell it. So now we're easing in, and this is what I'm talking about, where I had to drop down. Boom! There they go.
Awesome.
And I missed on that second shot, but it felt good anyway, you know.
I love how focused Haggis is. He's just like right there.
Yeah.
Do you think he saw one, or do you think it was all scent?
No, I think it was all scent at that point. Nah, they hold so still. They're so good at their job, you know. So they hold so still. And draughts aren't known for their eyes, you know. They're pretty good at marking falls and stuff, but like they aren't, you know, they aren't that good at pinpointing stuff like that. So I'm thinking it's all odor, even though it was that close.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen hares laying still in the open grassland, or not even grass, like open desert, like a rock, and the dog just like walks up to it thinking it's like a cow patty or something, and then it takes off running, and they're like, "Whoa!" You know, like get him. So yeah, their eyes aren't that good. It's all movement based.
And draughts less so. I mean, I love the breed, but like they're nose oriented. You know, they just lean on their nose more than anything. You know, so. But you know, so that's them. They're gonna motor around. They can track, but mainly they're working the air scent is the way I have them working. But on the other side, some of the other clips we got coming up, is we got, like I said, I got Dandy, my tracking setter, that Paint River dog. So it's different. You know how you saw Haggis working. This is gonna be a little different. No. Bring up the tracking one.
Oh, Dandy trailing.
Yeah, Dandy trailing. So this is, and I generally turn the camera off as soon as this happens, but I had to get it on film. So this is what I'm seeing when he gets into odor, and I'm creeping up behind him, and he'll lock up, and I'll get out in front of him, and I'll stomp around, and then I'll free him up. But that's how he walks me in. You know, he's picking up all the air scent. I mean, the ground scent there. So as opposed to the draughts, you know, they'll bring their nose down, but as soon as they smell it, they bring their head up, and they start trying to, at least my two, you know, they start trying to collect air off the wind, and that can get them to source it kind of quick. But if the wind's blowing the wrong way, they can stumble into them, you know. But as opposed
to
Dandy,
watch Dandy. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, go ahead. That was it. Yeah, you're on. You're on.
It was cool to watch Dandy trailing, is what I was gonna say. It's weird to see a bird dog trailing the ground. That was the first time for me. Not that I'm like crazy worldly in it, but I'm always used to seeing pointers running with their heads up, spaniels running with their heads up. So it was cool to see him just like sniffing the dirt and moving almost like a hound.
Yeah, and that's why I like it. You know, I'm a houndsman myself, so I really get a kick out of tracking into it. And like I say, he doesn't cover as much ground, you know, but because he's there with me and he's so cautious, if we get into him, I come creeping up on it and I can get a shot off, even if those birds are super spooky, you know, and flush, I can still get a shot. Whereas if Haggis and Griff are like 400, 500 yards out and they mess up, heck, I might not even hear it, you know? So like I like both. Don't get me wrong. I love both, but just for different reasons. And that's how that flavor works. So I wanted to show people what the trailing looks like before we run into like the next one. So yeah, if you wanted to hit that one, Seth, there with Dandy and Drops on point. So that's what happened. I saw Dandy coming to me. You could see him there in like center frame there. And then there's the two Drops that kind of locked up. They're actually off to my left side. I'm going to give it away here. They're right out there somewhere.
Oh man, this video is awesome.
And then boom, there they go. And they came up from everywhere, you know? But what was cool about that one is Dandy was tracking in on me at that point, you know? Like I almost walked over top of him, but he happened to loop all the way around and get into the track. And then I just happened to see him like doing the little panther crawl thing with his belly on the dirt, and he came up and then locked up on point where he was when the draughts came in and they stopped, you know? So that was pretty cool.
It's exhilarating when you watch him come close to a point. Every time he would slam on the brakes, my heart would be like, doo, 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 like totally pounding. It's so fun. And when he starts crawling in, you're just like, oh man, it's very cool. Very cool.
It works out because Dandy can retrieve. He's very good at it. He likes to retrieve his pointed bird more than anything. It's hilarious. He could point a bird, a covey, and when they flush, they can get up, and I'll shoot my another bird, and it'll fall right ahead of him, and then another one will fall, and if the one that came up right in front of him, he'll pass the one that falls right in front of him to go after the one that he saw, come up, So he picks his birds, and he'll clean them all up, but that's where the draughts come in handy really well because they're outstanding retrievers, so they get to clean all that up. But watching Dandy track in and the draughts clear the field and then help pick up everything I shoot, because that's one of the reasons I like to record all this stuff so much is because in the moment I'm lost. When it's over, I can barely tell you what happened. I was like, I'm fairly certain I had 3 dogs on the ground, but that's it.
Flow state. I'm the same way. Yep.
Yeah. Okay. Well, yeah. So that's why I happen to record all this stuff is just for myself, and then I get to share it with you guys. So hopefully you're enjoying it as much as I do. And then on this next one, you get to see how we came down over an edge, to this next point. And for some reason, you can't hear the others. They came up and went over to the right. There was a covey there, and the one goes down. I get the shot off of it. So Dandy's there just in the front right, just to the right there. You can barely see the orange on his collar.
Here we go. He's right there.
Yeah. And then, boom.
Nice.
Yeah. So Dandy's moseying his way down there, but Griff happens to be like another 100 yards past him. So when he hears the gun go off, he immediately, his head will come up and he looks for the fall, and he's marked it. He's probably got it at this point. So he's way the heck down there.
Yep. I see him down there.
This is what I love about having a solid retrieving dog. Because I'm not finding that. I'm not going to find that on my own. I'm sorry. It's falling in like belt-high grass, So a nice little finished retrieve comes up, puts his butt on the ground, waits for me to get my stuff together,
Good boy. Good boy. Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah. Good boy. Hey, Danny. Yeah.
Dandy got the point, It's got to get him a little reward there,
Man, I like Haggis the most, but Griff is a handsome dog. Holy crap.
Yeah, he's real photogenic. He really is. He's great at marking the retrieves too. He's great. I'd have to say Griff's better at gambles, but Haggis is definitely better at sage grouse and Mearns. So they all have their. Oh yeah, yeah, and coons, definitely coons, and coyotes, and that's the dog, Seth. That's I've treed lion solo with Haggis, and he's been on bear hunts, bear trees as well. But yeah, so that's a veteran dog. Like I said, Haggis has done a plethora of upland, and then bear, lion, coon. He's dug badger. Not all the way down. They met him at the hole, but he's dug him out. Coyote. Gosh, I could keep going, but I think
Look at his face, everybody. That's a man who loves Haggis.
I love that dog, man. I love that dog.
It's so obvious.
Yeah, he can do a little bit of everything. I'm not gonna say he's as good as a specialist at any of that. That's some honesty, but I could do it all with him though. So he makes me happy. That's for sure.
He rides in the front seat pretty good too. He's a pretty cool guy. So that helps a lot.
Oh yeah, I've actually I've never, we're beyond that, man. But I do have friends that will tell you stories about me making them sit in the back so Haggis could sit up front. It's happened.
I wouldn't be offended. I wouldn't be offended.
It's happened before, they hop in and me and Haggis are both looking at him like, are you gonna tell him or am I? What? You're in my seat, rookie. I get to the back. So
I only got 2 things to say before we wrap up this good episode, brother. First thing, one, break down for a split second what a draught is, because I think a lot of people are like, what is a draught? Go.
Oh, okay. A draught is just A lot of people are more familiar with like a German wirehair pointer, and they're very similar in a lot of ways. It's just there's a testing system that goes in with the draughts. Some of the wirehair people they can go through the testing system in a different association called like, oh gosh, now's the time when you get them off, like JGHV, I believe. I could have one of those letters wrong, but it's open to all breeds, but it's basically the same testing system. So there's a lot of wirehairs that can pass the same test. It's just all of the draughts have had to, going all the way back. There's a bunch of tests that go into it with, ground tracking of like jackrabbits, and then tracking of feathered game, and various retrievals, and all these like milestones have to be met at certain ages. And if they mess them up, they're out. They can't breed. They aren't allowed to. So, so it's just it's like you get a bunch of people together and say, hey, we're all going to breed to these same standards. That's not to imply people can't do it on their own. Like look at the American big game hounds. I mean, those are fantastic, and not everybody gets together and says, hey, let's put a track on the ground, and they all have to track. So it can be done without it, but it's another way of doing it. It's fun for me. I enjoy it. You get to observe other people all competing for the same standard on the same, as close to the same playing field as you can. Yeah. That's just what produces the draught. And they're just supposed to be a versatile breed. So they can retrieve, blood track, point. They're really rough on furred game, so you can go catch raccoons and they'll dispatch them and bring them back to the truck. Like Haggis carries all my coyotes back to the truck,
Yep,
so
seen it.
Yeah, so they do a little bit of everything, and that's all they are. Kind of a lot of people will say they're the best at everything. I love the breed, and I would say they're kind of like a jack of all trades kind of dog. They're probably best at retrieving and tracking, and they're gritty, and they can point as well. There are some phenomenal pointing dogs out there, but those are generally with people that focus on them. Absolutely. Mm-hmm. I got buddies that have English pointers and English setters, and I absolutely love going with all of them. This is just another flavor of bird dog that, you're not going to go win the Ames trials, with your draught, but you get to do this other fun stuff like tree lions. So that's why I said step to them. So
yeah, that's you're talking to a guy who hunts ultra specialists. So yeah, it is. I bet it's awesome. It has been very fun hunting with a dog like Haggis, because it's cool to just be like, we're gonna do this. Oh, grab him. We're gonna go do that. Well, we grab him. Why not? You know what I mean? Yeah. So mine is just like, we're doing this one very specific thing in this very specific place. Grab him. So. Yeah,
and he could lend a hand getting the jackrabbits up. But once they start running, he is worthless. He'll be like 400 yards back, barking his little butt off. That's his contribution, is cheerleader once their jackrabbit is running,
It's about all my contribution is too, so I don't blame him. We're in the same
boat.
There you
go, yeah.
Here's my second thing.
What's up?
You come down and hunt Mearns again without me, I'm going to find you, okay? I'm going to find you, and I'll know where you're at. I'll find you.
Let's do it. Oh,
man. You're going to see that same video clip. You're going to see a giant white cloud of smoke with the black powder thunder stick. And so that'll be me. Mm-hmm. You don't even know if you hit anything. You shoot, and you're just like, oh, God. Did I get him? Haggis, go find out.
Go find out.
So, hell yeah, man. That was awesome. I can't wait to bird hunt again with you, man. That was really fun.
Let's do it.
Heck yeah, man.
Let's do it.
Close us out, brother. This is your episode.
That's all I got, man. Hopefully let us know what you like, what you don't like. We'll be back at it with some more. Catch us soon.
Smash that like and subscribe, guys. That's what helps us keep HXP TV on the air, and we got a lot more cool footage coming your way. Also, guys, there's quickly an addendum to this episode. Check out the Houndsman XP all mixed up episode with me and Chad, talking about how Dandy is bred and specifically how it hunts. It's how we do these long form versions of HXP TV. So go check that out, you guys. Paint River Setters is where Chad got Dandy from, and that's a great episode if you want to learn a lot more about this kind of dog and how we hunt them here in the dry ground birds. So that's all I got, brother. Thanks for joining us, everybody.
Yeah, let's do it again real soon.